Hello, my name is Emma, and I want to thank you all for 2,000 subscribers! It's so cool. I never thought I'd make it this far on YouTube, and I'm just really happy, and thank you guys. Younger me would be screaming crying if she knew we got this far. Speaking of younger me, she had a lot of OCs. Some OCs that meant the most to me when I was in middle school was my first human OCs. Before them, I mostly made animals or pony OCs, so they were my first push into what I do now. My last video, I went through old art, and seeing them again made me want to revisit these old friends. I mostly just went over some of my old stuff, and there was some comics included, so I read some of that, and if you want to see that, you can watch that video. It's kind of long though, but I like long videos to draw along too. So out of the group of my first human OCs, there was Margot, spelled without a T, which bugs me now. Why did I do that? She started out as a Sona for myself. Then there was Emmett. He was just a goofy guy who mostly served to be Margot's love interest, and Jane, who was shy and sad, and she was also in love with Emmett. Oh, and Emmett is in love with Margot, but in a very creepy way.
Jane, she's the one.
There wasn't really anything to their story that was interesting or that stood out to me. It was just a high school drama basically, but I was very impatient, so there was no build up to outcomes. It was just a blob of romance and drama with no substance at all. One thing about me is that I love romance though. Me and romance, we go hand in hand, okay? If I create a story, you know romance will be the brunt of it. So warning, 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 I am a self-indulgent MFer, okay? Like I said before, Emmett was creepy towards Margot only for her to actually reciprocate the feelings as if it were okay. He was just really pushy with her, and she was just like, oh yeah, okay. I mean, that's okay if you are, I guess, if you like that kind of thing, but I don't know. Just weird behavior all around. Jane was a husk of a character. Actually, they all were husks. Pretty much one-dimensional personalities. As mentioned before, the only thing notable about her was that she liked Emmett and hated Margot for liking Emmett. Or no, for Emmett liking her. It was stupid. The whole thing was pretty much a boring nightmare. Okay? And I knew I wanted to redesign them, but finding an angle to make them interesting was a challenge. I almost scrapped this whole thing because I couldn't get excited about it, and it was until I remembered something. I would often, and I can't believe I'm about to say this publicly, but I'm pretty sure it's commonplace in fandoms. I would roleplay with my friends as these characters, and they would often time travel around to different places. That got the gears turning, and then I knew I had to get to work. So let's jump in. Margot was my very first human OC, like I said. She was my self-Sona for like 1 second. The shirt she was wearing resembled one that I had at the time, and she eventually became her own character. She had little to no personality other than being the weird new girl to the high school, even though I barely showed her being weird at all. She was just very flat and sometimes had violent tendencies, I guess, but honestly, I don't remember all the nuances of this character. I guess her old personality died with middle school me. Rest in peace. I knew I wanted her to look similar to how she was before, since I do think the striped shirt is recognizable, but obviously it changed a lot. I did want her to look a bit like me, since that was her origin, so I gave her darker hair and bangs. Not saying that this is what I look like at all, just saying that I look more like this than I did this, okay? I think her personality would be more timid and shy, with her knowing a lot of info about certain things. She definitely lives in her own world and doesn't care what other people think of her, but she also doesn't have a lot of friends. Margot is not the main character anymore. I think she might share it with Jane, but Jane will be more of a focus than her. This story is also aged up, so they are college students and not high school anymore. When I was making this, I did the method of making the characters just their bases so you can add clothes to them. And I really do recommend doing a doll base like this when designing characters because it was so much easier than what I did before when designing characters, and I could like run through outfits without having to commit to one outfit in a sketch phase. So that was pretty cool. So the big change up obviously with this is the time travel angle. This is in really early development, so I'm not entirely sure how it all works, but the first place I want them to go is the Regency era, so I design alternate outfits so they can blend into the time period. I don't really know how the time travel works just yet, but I imagine some kind of book that has a bunch of specific dates in it, and it will take you to the times. That's my general idea. I don't know yet. I went back and forth on whether or not to give her glasses, and what ultimately stopped me from giving her glasses was the problem of switching from era to era where glasses are so widely different between them and they didn't look right with certain outfits of time periods. I just decided that glasses were not a fit for this character. I do think that maybe glasses would work with her, but it wasn't that important to me. Here she is. These designs could all change, FYI, but I do like how she turned out for sure. Jane was a very minor character. She did not get much love from me for sure when I first made her. She was best friends with Emmett and was in love with him, and that was, like I said, pretty much it. She was supposed to be like a shy, timid kind of character, probably close to how Fluttershy acts, because I was still on that kick. So I wanted to add a little more life to her for sure. I was sketching silhouettes for them and playing around with ideas, and I sketched one of those like spiky hairdos from like the late 90s and early 2000s, and I fell in love. I was like, yes, I have to do that. That is so good. She is going to be more of a main character just because I find her way more interesting. She is a stark contrast to the Regency era and the ideals of the time, and I find that very interesting. Unlike Margot, who is much more timid and holds her tongue and does what she's told to, so Margot blends in a lot more than Jane could. And I think that's way more interesting, but their hair would work very good together and as a team. My rough idea for the jumping off point in the story is that Margot and Jane get paired for a project together and have to do research in the library. They don't know each other at all and are basically strangers to one another. They somehow get teleported to a different time and have to find a way to get back. And me personally, I would find that very difficult if I didn't know this person at all. They are very different people. They definitely find each other very difficult. Jane's Regency outfit was a bit hard to design because she kept looking like Cinderella to me, and that's not what I was going for. Leaning more into purple kind of fixed that, and I'm now realizing how much I like monochromatic color schemes, but hey, they're good. I can't lie. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. Here is Jane. She's definitely my favorite. I really love how she looks with Margot, and I think it's definitely a step up from what it was. Also, if you see any of my art, yes, I have an obsession with stars. Okay, sue me. I like stars, okay? Stars make everything better. Sorry. Sue me. And of course, the last major character in this video is Emmett, of course. Emmett's character was mostly the goofy guy, like I said before, who was the LOL funny man of the group. LOL random XD humor, you know what I mean?
Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola glass. I don't give a damn.
Which is fine. I think that character can work if you do it right, but I obviously didn't do it right. In most cases, he came off like a total creep towards Margot, and it was portrayed as alright in my little brain, which is just ew. Ew. Gross. Needless to say, he needed a complete overhaul. I knew I could have made him look more similar to what he looked like before, but I kind of hate his design. It was so boring and drab and just icky. Like, I didn't know how to make appealing men characters. Yeah, out of all of them, out of the two, I think his design was definitely the worst, even though Jane literally wore Uggs. But Uggs are kind of cool, okay? I'm not gonna sit here and say that Uggs are ugly, because when the girls make them work, they make them work, okay? Also, a major pet peeve of mine, I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but I hate when love interests look way similar to one another. If you have the ability to make a character look however you want, like literally anything in the world, why would you make them have brown hair, brown eyes, white? They look like siblings. I'm so sorry, they look like siblings. Sorry if that's... I don't think that's a hot take though. Like, that shouldn't be a hot take, but I see it so often. They look too damn similar. I mean, unless they have a sibling dynamic. And that's another thing I don't like, is when there's two characters that look so similar, but they're not siblings. And I've fallen into that hole where I make characters look really similar and I'm like, oh, they kind of look like siblings and I don't want it to read like that. One example I have of that is the new My Little Pony reboot. I legitimately thought that the main character pony, like the one with the pink hair, I cannot remember their names, and the male pony were siblings, because don't they look so damn similar? Like, they have the same body color, just different hair color. Maybe that's just me, I don't know. Moving on. The biggest change to Emmett's character is that he is no longer from the modern world, or where Jane and Margot are from. He is from the Regency era now. I don't know all the details yet, but my general idea is that he gets wrapped up in Margot and Jane's time travel and has to work together with them. And I think that adds a big dynamic shake up. You know, it adds a little bit of spice to their characters, you know what I mean? Magic Treehouse, but awesome, am I right? I guess Magic Treehouse is already kind of awesome. I gave him almost a beige hair color, and for his more modern outfit, I wanted to give him a very dark academia kind of feel, because I think it parallels nicely to where he's from, but also looks a little vintage. I feel like his personality now would be goofy once he opens up, but I think he first comes off as very cold and proper, which makes him unlikable to at least Jane, okay? One thing that happens in my horrible comic is that the way Margot and Emmett meet is that they bump into each other and fall in love. I want that to happen again, that bumping into each other, but this time Emmett thinks he's in love with Margot, but Margot shows no romantic interest at all. He eventually does learn that it isn't going to happen, of course, and he isn't as pushy as Emmett was. Like, he isn't as creepy as old Emmett, okay? Old Emmett should not ever be repeated as a positive character. Ever! New Emmett quickly realizes that there's someone else he feels a little stronger towards. I know this isn't a lot of info, but I mostly wanted to go into the characters' personalities a little bit, and like I said, it could all change. I will possibly make an update once more stuff comes to me. Bonus redesign. This is just a small, quick one. I drew this bunny character a lot when I was in middle school. He was just a little white bunny who was an agent of chaos kind of thing. I don't know. It was very random XD humor. Here is an excerpt of something I wrote about him on my Instagram. So yeah, my old account is officially gone. I lost my account. I got hacked, my old ass account. A bittersweet moment, XD. This is one of my OC's meme. Don't ask about the name. I just started drawing random bunnies on my school papers. This is getting longer than I wanted it to be. I guess I'm like thinking I'm making this too long when it's literally the shortest paragraph I've ever seen in my life. And then I was like, I'm gonna make an OC, and yeah, meme was born. God, that was long. Sorry for making you read. You heard it yourself, folks. That's what 13-year-old me thought. Like I said, his name was Meme, which is weird, but I kind of have an attachment to it, so I'm not sure if I want to change it. Please leave suggestions in the comments of any names you think like his name should be. I'm so terrible with naming things, so it's really hard for me to do. I gave him more of a tannish color scheme instead of white, just because white is so overdone, kind of. He kind of looks like a Sanrio character now, which might be a problem. I'm not sure what I want his character to be yet, but some kind of crazy character that's like, whoa. I think I want him to start out as Margot's pet or something, but honestly he might end up just getting scrapped. I just did this for fun because nostalgia kicked in, okay? But I definitely think the improvement is there with him. Here's all the designs I did in this video. I do have to work some stuff out, but I plan on adding more characters to this story. Let me know if you guys want a part 2, and I'd definitely be up to it because this was a lot of fun. And I think this story might need a bit of a villain, a bit of an antagonist. Tumblr sexy man or something. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I hope you guys liked all the designs. Like, subscribe, comment, share the video. It helps a lot, or don't do any of that. I don't care. Thanks for watching. Peace.